Hi everybody, we are about to start modeling the building and it's going to be based on the AutoCAD drawing file. I'll go ahead and begin, but before I do anything, I just want to make sure that all of you have your screen set up or your interface set up the way mine is set up. And to do this, make sure, so to see the large tool set over here, make sure that you have right-clicked up on top here and you have selected large tool set. Also, take a look at the windows or the tabs that I have open. So I've got Getting Started, the large tool set, I've got Solid Tools, and also Styles. So that's all turned on. Also, my default tray is showing. So to get your default tray to show up, go to Window, Default Tray, and make sure that your screen looks a lot like mine because I don't have it hidden and I don't have it renamed. So make sure that it is turned on and that you have all of these different areas or sections also selected because we'll be using those. All right. Next thing, I know I'm right here in the interface, but to start a new drawing, make sure that it's going to be formatted to the architectural unit. So if you're here where I am, just go ahead and click on File and click on New from Template. And when you go New from Template, you're going to see a few more extra options. I'm going to select Architectural Inches over here. Just give that a click. So these are the architectural inches. Next, make sure that you're going to save the file with the proper name. So come on up to File and click on Save As. Now, if the instructions say anything different, please follow the instructions. I'm just saving mine right now to my drive, and I have my folder set up. And in my folder, this is going to be the first initial last name, and it's going to be building. That's it. So simply click Save. To continue, bring in the AutoCAD X plan that you've constructed. We're going to use that as a template, if you will, to get this building started. So you're going to come up to File, and you're going to click on Import. When you click on Import, you're going to look for that plan that you've drawn. Here's mine, and I'll go ahead and click Import. You'll see this screen come up. It's just showing you the import results, and then you can go ahead and click Close. And you'll see that it has brought in the floor plan. Now, come up here to the default tray and expand on tags. And you'll see that what we have as layers in our AutoCAD drawing are now referred to as tags here in SketchUp. So I don't need to see the furniture, so I'm going to turn that tag off. I also don't need to see any of the hatching, and it looks like it didn't even come through, and that's all right. And then I created a separate layer for my stairs. So if I turn that off, you'll see. And that's for my stairs and deck. I just did that a little different. And then this is my planimetric information. So everything that is a fixture, kitchen fixture, or a bathroom fixture is turned off. So really what I want to just see here are my walls, my exterior walls, really, as long, and the interior ones, and what I call my stairs. So I'll just turn that on and off so you can see that. And that's it, because this is what I'm going to use to get started with my building. So I'll go ahead and orient my view as needed. I can take this figure and just delete it because I don't need to see it anymore. And I'm going to get started first of all with the base of my building. Now, if you recall, the building is elevated 1'6" off of the ground. And we have the stairs here that are going to take us up to that 1'6". Remember, when you're standing on the ground, you're at 0 feet, level with the ground. You take one step up, 6 inches. You take another step up, another 6 inches, that's 12. And you take another step up, that's another 6 inches, so that's 18 inches off the ground. So what I'd like to do is just draw the pad, if you will, of the building where it's going to be sitting up. And really, it would be a foundation wall, but we're not going to treat it that way. We're just going to treat it as a solid, just mass, if you will. So to get started with that, I'm just going to come up here to the line tool, click on line, and I'm basically just going to do a trace. I'm starting at that endpoint, bringing it over this way, taking it over in this direction over here, and just going all the way around and then clicking right there. And you can see once I've constructed that trace, it creates that solid surface. Now, this is one way. Let me show you another way that I could have done this instead of drawing this all around. I'm going to edit, undo, drawing the lines. Yep, I'm going to keep going all the way until they're gone. Here, let me show you 1 second why there are still lines there. If I right click this and I go to hide, see there's extra lines. So let me just triple click these and then tap the delete key and then go to view, actually no, edit, unhide, and all. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a rectangle from this corner over to this corner. You see how that fills in real nice? And then I'll draw another rectangle from here to there. And then I'll tap my spacebar and I have this extra line. So I'm going to click on that line and tap delete. So what that does is it gives me a nice solid surface right here. So either way that you do it, you're going to be fine. All right, let me click off of that. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to elevate this 18 inches. So I'm going to use push-pull. So I'm going to highlight it, type P for push-pull, give one click, not a click and drag, one click, take it up, and then type in 18. It'll default to inches, so I don't need to put inches. I just type 18 and enter. And that gives me the solid that I want, that solid surface. I'm going to tap the spacebar now, and then immediately triple click this, and then right click it and make a group. Now, I have stairs over here, and I should also be placing stairs at other locations, but let me show you how I'm going to do the stairs right here. I'm going to turn on, and I'm going to pull this down a little bit so you can see it. Under my styles, I'm going to turn on X-ray. And X-ray is showing me what I have below. You see that? So what I'd like to do is get those stairs in place. So to do that, I'm going to, let me see if I can move this out. And this is going to be a little tricky. I'm going to take that drawing file that I brought in, and it's not going to let me pick that drawing file because I'm on the top side here. So I'm going to go to the underside like this and see if I can pick it. And there we go. Now I was able to click on it. Let me see how it's showing it to me now. So with that one selected, I'm now going to type M, and I'm going to move it from this point up and make sure it's going up. And to do that, use the up arrow key to constrain to blue. And I'm going to move it up, and you can either type 18 or you can click right there on that endpoint and you know that you've brought it up. So now I'm able to see it, and I'm able to see through as well because I'm in X-ray mode. So let me tap the space bar now, click off of that object. And now what I'd like to do is edit my group. So this is the group, and I'm going to double click it. And notice how I'm in that group now. It's showing me the bounding box, and then I'm also seeing the floor plan. And what I'm going to do now is just draw a rectangle from this endpoint, and I know that it's going and showing me a rectangle that's going to be drawn in that red axis or along the red. And it's okay. I'm just going to give it one click. And depending on how I move my arrow, it might change. You see that? But I know that if I click over here, it's going to remain on the blue axis. So I'm going to give that a click. And then I'm going to do another rectangle, draw another one from here. And I'm going to take it right over there. Okay, tap the spacebar. And then I'm going to turn off my X-ray mode. And you'll see now that I have a surface here and I have another surface there. So I'm going to take this surface and I'm going to push pull it. I'm going to type P, And I'm going to take it, I'm going to click on it and then take it straight down. And this needs to go down 12 inches. So I type in 12 and enter. And then I come over here and I'm still in my push-pull mode. I'm going to give that one click and I'm going to take that down 6 inches. So I type 6 and enter. And now that I'm done, I tap the space bar. I take a look and I can see that it has placed the steps in there the way I wanted them. Okay, I'm going to click away from that. Now you can see the stairs in place. And you'll do the same thing with your other sides. Wherever it is that you have drawn stairs, follow a similar technique and you'll get them in there. Make sure also before you continue that this base, I'm calling it a base, is a group. And I'm going to expand my entity info here. And you'll see that I have a group selected. And then I also want you to notice that it's showing me a volume. And I need that volume to be in place. If there is no volume, then when it comes time for me to use these solid tools, they may not work properly. So it's really important as you progress with your model, now that we've gotten started here, as we continue to add more to it, make sure that you're double checking that you are seeing a volume here. And sometimes, let me double click into the group here. Okay, and let me just draw one line. And I'll just draw a line from, let's say, this point here, and I'll take it straight down to that point there. Okay, and then I'm going to click away from it, and then I'm going to click on the group again. Sometimes by adding that one line, it makes the volume disappear, and you won't see a volume. So it's really important that you have a clean solid. So I'm going to go back into my group here, take that line and delete it. And then I'm going to go back into X-ray mode and see if there are any extra lines floating around on my solid anywhere. And if necessary, you can go ahead and turn off the A wall and the A stairs tag instead of hiding it. So now I can take a look and see that everything looks the way it should, except for one line right here. So I'm going to type E and just click and drag across that line and erase it. And I use this X-ray mode a lot to make sure that I'm not holding on to any extra lines, because it will start to get bogged down with a lot of line work and you want to minimize that. So your model is going to get sophisticated enough. So the less lines that are not needed, the better. Okay, I'm going to turn my styles back. I'm sorry, X-ray off. And then I'm going to tap the space bar and turn my walls and my stairs back on. And then I can continue. Let me click off of it. And that gets you started with the base. Now, time for the walls. I'm just going to do the exterior walls and the interior all at once here. Sometimes I like to separate them out, but in this case, it'll be okay. One way to do that, and by the way, if you don't want to see this solid base, you can select it, right click it, and hide it, just to make it easier to model. So here's what I'll do. Right over here, I'll get started with this side. And this is both exterior and interior walls. But like I said, I'll treat them all as one for now. And I can go ahead and draw lines and simply just trace all of this. Just go around. And be done. So that took a little bit of time. That's one way to do it. Let me go ahead and tap the space bar. Let me triple click. Sorry, make sure I triple click it. There we go, and delete it, because I want to show you another way to do this. So that was just drawing lines, but I could do the following also. I can draw a rectangle, and let's say I take the rectangle from here over this way. Then I can proceed to draw more rectangles like this, and like this. And then tap the space bar. And then the rectangles or the surfaces that I do not need, I can select them and delete them. Select, delete, select, delete. But I'm just deleting the surfaces. Now, if I turn off the walls and the stairs, you'll see that I have extra lines. So I'm just going to type E for erase and just go straight across and erase those. So, and then tap the space bar. So that's another way of creating these walls. Let me show you a third way to do it. So I'm going to window all of this and delete. And then I'm going to bring my walls and my stairs back. Okay, another way then is to draw rectangles again, but this time just keep it inside of these areas like this. There we go. Tap the space bar. I'm going to turn off my walls and my stairs, and you'll see it just put in, well, place the rectangles, but there are extra lines. So I'm going to type E for erase, erase this like that, and then we're all set. So those are three different ways to do that. Practice them, see which one you like, and go with it. So now the next thing to do is push pull this up. I'm going to type P for push pull, and I'm going to click right in here on the surface. One click, and then move it up. And I'm going to go with a height of, say, 10 feet. You can make your building taller if you'd like to. I'm just using this as a generic value. I'm assuming that the inside is about an 8-foot ceiling, and then there's a foot for the structure. So that would put me at 9 feet. And how do I come up with 10 feet? Well, I guess I could make it 9 feet if I wanted to, but I was just using a round number of 10 because maybe I want 9-foot ceilings in my building. So that's how I think about these things. So let me stick with my 10 feet for now. So I type in 10 feet and I make sure I put the foot mark and then enter. And that gives me that solid. And then always I'm going to tap the space bar, and then I'm going to triple click and then right click and make a group. And then go to that x-ray mode and see if there are any extra lines anywhere that we don't need to have. And it looks like we don't. So now I'm going to tap my spacebar again and click off of my objects, turn off x-ray, and continue modeling. So I'm going to turn on my walls again and the stairs, and I'm realizing that I don't need the stairs at this point anymore. Let's see if I turn the stairs off. Yeah, but I'll leave them on. That's fine. And I'll go ahead and continue to model. Now, here's where you have to be really, really careful because you want all of your walls to be part of one group. And I already started a group over here. So I'm going to triple click. I'm sorry, not triple, double click. And notice how I'm in that group. And now that I'm in that group, I'm going to continue to put in some walls. Now watch this. What I did previously was show you how to generate the surface that would be placed to represent the walls and then elevate that and push pull it up. But now I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to draw a rectangle right here like this. And notice what happens. My group now has extended, and this rectangle, this surface, is part of that group. And what I'm going to do is type P for push-pull. I'm going to take that up, and I'm going to make sure that I click right here on this endpoint so it locks to that height. So notice how by being in the group, I'm adding to the group. And then I'm going to continue. So I'll draw another rectangle from here. I'll take it over this way. Notice how now that's part of the group. And you'll also see that it's coming in gray. So if you want, you could tap the space bar, select that surface, right click it, and reverse faces. You don't have to, but if you want to, that's fine. And then from here, I would type P for push pull, and I would make sure that I'm clicking in the surface like this, and I'm going to take that up, and I'm going to let it align to that endpoint. And you'll notice that I have an extra line right here. Let me tap the spacebar. And this is where I go back into my X-ray mode. And I see that I have that extra line. I don't need it. So I immediately come in here and I type E. And then I just click and drag across. And then this line also can go. So drag across. And then down here, click and drag across to make that go away. So I want to make sure that these walls remain solid and free of any extra lines. All right, now to continue, turn off X-ray, and then I'm going to draw another rectangle. So I'll go rectangle from this endpoint over to this endpoint. And notice how it's still coming in reverse, and that's all right. I'll click here now and there, and then I'll type E and erase this. And now I will type P for push-pull. I'll click on this and I'll start to take it up. And notice it just goes back to being that white surface. So it's fine. And if it didn't, you can always go back, reverse the face, and then push-pull it up. So I'm going to take this and take it up like that. And then turn on X-ray mode, type E for erase, and then I click here, click and drag there. There's an extra line here, just click and drag over that. And you'll see how everything is shaping up. So that's one other way to draw this out. So let me go ahead and tap the space bar and click away from that. And then turn off X-ray mode. So as I'm showing you this, this is just one of many ways to model. Now, if you recall, when I was drawing this in AutoCAD, I actually offset my lines. I created a polyline all the way around, and then I did an offset. So I want to show that to you how it is possible here in SketchUp as well. So I'm going to take this wall or that group and just delete it. And I'm doing this just to show this to you. You don't have to. You can just sit back and watch what I'm going to do here and see if you like the option. And if not, that's fine. But I just want to show you that similar technique that I used when I was doing it in AutoCAD. So here I go. I'm going to draw a rectangle. So I'm actually not a rectangle, draw lines. I'll start by basically just tracing the outline of my building like this. And feel free to zoom in and out, pan over as needed. There we go. So I've now created that surface that's going to represent my building. And then I'll type P for push-pull, and I'll take this straight up, and I will now type in 10 feet. So now that's 10 feet tall. Now I want to offset. So let me tap the space bar. I come over here to offset. I'm going to hover, and as long as it finds a point on the edge, I go ahead and click. And I'm going to click, I'm sorry, I just did one click, and now I'm moving my cursor to the inside of my building. As long as it's going to the inside, I don't want it to go out here. So I'm going to keep it to the inside like this, and I will type 8 because that was the thickness of the walls, and enter. Now I type P for push-pull, and notice how I have two separate surfaces. So I want this one that's on the inside highlighting, and then I give it one click, and then I move my cursor down, and I'm just going to type in 10 feet and enter. And notice what it's done. It's created all of the exterior walls, which is really nice. And now it's just a matter of putting in my interior walls. And here's what I'll do. First, tap the spacebar. Next, triple click, and then right click, make that group. And then double click so you're inside of the group, and proceed to draw the remaining walls. So like right over here, I will go ahead and put the walls in. So I'll draw a rectangle from this endpoint to that endpoint, and notice what it's done. It's gone ahead and filled in my area here. And that's because it assumes that I want a surface all over here. And that's just how SketchUp works. But I'll go ahead and tap the spacebar, and then I'll click on the surface, and you'll see it highlights that surface, but it doesn't highlight this one here. And then I just simply tap delete. So it erases that. Now watch, it's going to do it again as soon as I draw another rectangle over here. I'll pick this endpoint here, and then I'll bring it out there. Notice, again, fills that whole area in, and that's fine. Just tap the spacebar, click on that surface, and you'll see it's that surface, but it's not including the other two, and then tap the delete key. So there's pros and cons to doing it this way, and you're just seeing the cons. Either way is fine. So now what I'm going to do is type E for push-pull, take this surface and take it straight up, let it align to that edge. I'll take this surface, take it straight up, let it align to that edge. And then I'll go ahead and check with my X-ray mode to see if there's any additional lines that I would need to delete. And the answer is yes. So I'm going to go to my selection tool. I'm going to keep looking here. And let me turn off the wall layer and my stair layer. And you'll see I don't want the lines here. So I'm going to type E. So I'll erase this line. And this only works in X-ray mode. If I'm not in X-ray mode, I can't see through the wall. So have that X-ray mode on, and then you can just click and drag across. Erases that. And then you can click and drag across here. But be real careful, because you can accidentally click and drag one extra line like this. And notice what that's going to do. It just deletes the surfaces there. Here, let me turn on or turn off X-ray mode. You see that? So when you make accidents like that, and they're good accidents to have because you're learning how to use the software, just go back and draw a line, the one that you just erased from this endpoint, straight up there, and it'll close it off. And then I'll tap my spacebar, go back to my X-ray mode, type E, and then erase that line because I don't need to see that. Okay. And then tap my spacebar again, click outside of my group, turn off my X-ray mode, take a look at what I have, and then I'm going to give my group one click, and I'm noticing that I still have a volume. So keep an eye on this. Volumes are important to have. There are workarounds, but just be mindful of that. Okay, so I'm going to click away from it. And now in this area, I have a door, bifold door. And let's say that the bifold door is 6'8". I don't have a frame around it. It's just a simple set of bifold doors. Here, I'll turn on my plan layer, right? There are the bifold doors. But they're only going to go up 6 feet 8 inches. So here's how you do this. I'm going to turn off that layer A plan. And then I'm going to come over here, angle my view so that I can see that area. And then I'm going to draw a rectangle from this endpoint to that endpoint. Okay. And then type E for push pull. And I'm going to click right here, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to give this a height of 6 feet 8 and enter. That's for my opening. Now I'm going to come over here, and I want to push pull this up also, but I'm going to tap the control key. When I tap the control key, it's actually going to create a separate solid. So I click once and I bring it up and I let it align to that endpoint. Now I tap the spacebar, and then I can take a look at this, and I'll go into, well, before I go into X-ray mode, I'm just going to click on this surface and then delete it. And then I'll click on this surface and delete it. And then I still have a rectangle down there, so I'll type E, and I'm going to erase this line and this line. Then I'll go into my X-ray mode and start deleting the extra lines that I have here. So I'll click on this one. Nope, I made a mistake. Hang on a second, edit undo. This is wonderful. I'm glad this happened. Notice I did this, but I was not in the group. I made that mistake. I'm going to own that mistake because we all make these mistakes and it's okay. Watch how I'm going to fix it. I'm going to triple click to make sure that I select everything here. And then I'm going to go to edit and I'm going to cut it out. Then I'm going to double click in my group. So now I'm in my group, you see that? And then I'm going to select edit, paste in place. And I'll put it right where I want it. So I basically brought it into the group by using cut and paste in place. Now I'll go back to my X-ray mode and I'm going to click off of everything first. I'm still in my group because I can see from that dash line. Now I can go ahead and type E for erase. And I don't need this line or this one or the one behind it, in front of it, behind it, in front of it. And this cleans it up. So I'm going to be doing that with a lot of my openings. So I'll go ahead and tap the space bar and I will go ahead and click outside of my group, turn off my X-ray mode. I'm going to turn on my wall layer to see the other walls. So what I'm left with is in this area here. Now, you may find it easier to just simply draw all the rectangles or just get this surface in place first and then bring it up, or do separate rectangles and then push pull them up and erase lines. It doesn't matter how you do it. It's fine. Let me show you a couple of ways that I've considered or ways that you can consider doing this. Now watch this. I will make sure I'm in my group this time by double clicking. So I'm in my group now. And then watch this. I'm going to draw a line and I'm going to make sure that it picks that endpoint, not the edge, but I want to make sure it picks the endpoint. So you got to really get in there and make sure that it's showing you endpoint. Otherwise, when you pick an edge, it's not going to work the way it should. You're going to run into some issues. So I like to track the edge here all the way back until it finds that intersection, and then I click. Now I'm going to draw a line straight up, and I'm going to use my up arrow to constrain it to blue, and I'm going to now click on this line that it intersects. And I'll go back. And again, I don't want it on edge. I want to make sure that it tells me it's on the intersection. So now that it's on the intersection, click, and I'm going to take that one straight up also. And it looks like it is locking into the blue axis, but just to be sure, I use my up arrow key, and then I'll let it pick anywhere constrained on that intersection. Now, tap the space bar. What I've done is I basically have split that one surface into three surfaces here. I'm going to pick this surface, and then I'm going to type P for push pull. I'm going to push pull, take it from the middle here, or that area. I'm going to push pull it to the edge. You see this? It's hard to get it to snap, so go ahead and turn on X-ray mode. And now it'll pick that endpoint. Done. And then I want to continue. And I'm going to tap my control key. Let's see. There we go. Now that I tap the control key, see the plus sign there on the icon? That's what you need to see. So I'm going to make a copy from here. See how it's an extra or it's a new solid. And I want to take it all the way over to this endpoint. And it tells me it's going to lock into that endpoint, so I give it a click. And it actually went too far. I'm not sure why. So I'll just go ahead and edit, undo, and start over and maybe pick a different angle like this. So I'll go ahead and click on that surface, and I still have the plus sign on it. So I know it's going to make an extra solid. Give it a click, bring it over. I'll be real careful and make sure that it does snap to that endpoint, which it's doing, and I'll click. And then I'll continue from here, click, bring it over. I'm going to let it snap to, let's say, this endpoint here. And then I'll go ahead and tap my space bar. Now, I need to have an opening here that's also 6'8" because I have bifold doors. I'm going to turn off my X-ray mode because I want to show you a little bit better here how you can go to the underside like this, and notice how you're going through walls. So maybe you need to bring your view out a little bit more and go to the underside like this. And this is why it's really nice that I have that pad, that 1'6" high pad hidden. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to see under here. So now what I'm going to do is type P for push pull, and I'm going to click on this surface and take it straight up. And the distance on that is 6'8". So I type 6'8", enter, and see what it's done. It's giving me that opening that I wanted. And now I'm going to go back. I'm going to turn on X-ray mode. I'm going to type E for erase. I'm going to erase this line, and this one to clean that edge up. I'm going to do the same thing over here, but let me pause for a second, tap the space bar, click outside of the group, and then click on the group. And you see how it's showing me that there is no volume to it? And that's probably because I have these extra lines in here. So what I'm going to do right now is go back into the group, give that a double click. I'm still in my X-ray mode, and then I'm going to erase this line, and this line. Zoom it out, tap the space bar, click outside of it, click on it again, and now I'm back to having a volume. You see, those extra lines, those little extra lines can create a bit of a problem. So turn on the X-ray mode here, or turn the X-ray mode off. And then I think I'll pause here for just a second so that you can practice everything and yeah, see where it goes. And then I'll continue in a little bit. All right.